TVOT.
Okay, so the next session is called ITV Doctor is in, the Anatomy of Automatic Content Recognition. And if you don't already know, ACR, as it's called in short, is one of the most interesting and exciting technologies that we're seeing all of a sudden pop up. Not maybe all of a sudden, but there's a lot of providers here wandering around. And Rick Howe, who is our columnist for the ITV Doctor, is going to lead that session. So I'd like him to come up. Let's give him a hand.
I am ready. Thank you all. Come on, guys. You know, when you're the doctor, you got to have the shtick. What can I say? Yeah, just sit anywhere you want. I'll call you in order. And when you're the doctor, you have to deal with emergencies like people bringing you presentations on a thumb drive a minute before the presentation panel starts and it not working. But that's okay. We have backups. We have backups. Everybody here? Arvin needs to be there next to AJ. All right. Who here knows what ACR stands for? It is not awfully complex response. No, okay. It is automatic content recognition. Those of you who read my column, and I thank you for so doing, know that I keep saying, to the point that you're tired of hearing me say it, that you do not have to interact on television in order to interact with television. But if you're going to interact on a companion device, whether it be an iPad or an iPhone or an Android or even a BlackBerry, that companion device needs to know what you're watching on television. I think all of us would admit that it makes no sense to be watching Glee and have to go to your iPad and go to Fox and then click on Glee and then page down, page down, page down, page down until you find a game that you can play along with tonight's episode. It is much more interesting to the consumer and much more friendly to the consumer to have that little crooked finger that says, "Hi, come on in. We have something to show you." And if the way that the network or the operator or the hardware tells you that they have something to show you is by an interface or a handshake between the program and the companion device, that's what we're going to talk about today. We're also going to deal with, but probably not get a lot into, how this might apply in an advertising model. And I was talking to some friends in the ad sales business earlier today about a model that's sort of interesting when it comes to selling advertising on interactive television when you're using a companion device. If Dish Network, Mr. Samuels, were selling an ad to Ford, and from that ad to Ford that the viewers watching on Dish Network, the consumer was invited on his iPhone to go to the Ford F-150 information page and then explore features and benefits of the Ford F-150, a dealer locator, and whatever else it might be. When we finally get this into a mature business, Larry would be able to charge Ford not only for the ad that appears on Dish, but for the connection or the click, if you will, that goes over to the handheld device, and then also earn money for the entire time the consumer spends on the handheld. Now, whether that's Dish Network selling the ad, or Comcast Spotlight selling the ad, or ESPN selling the ad, the same model works. We don't yet know how to do that model. I'm not sure we even yet know how to sell straight, if there is such a thing, interactive advertising on television. But the fact of the matter is, this group here is not by any stretch of the imagination unfriendly to quote-unquote traditional delivery by cable, satellite, or telco. In point of fact, what they do is a terrific benefit and possible partnership to get to the devices that we all know are welded to the hands of our viewers. They never put these damn things down. They put down the remote control, but they never put these down. So this is a powerful device, and it's a whole lot smarter than a set-top box. Okay, we are going to go through our panelists and let them speak a little bit to us. We have, and in no particular order, we have Adam Cahan. Adam, raise your hand, from IntoNow. Adam was running a seminar at lunch about how to launch a business in January and sell it to Yahoo 3 months later. You might all be interested in speaking to him privately. We have Evan Krauss, EVP of Advertising Sales from Shazam. Evan's down at the end. He's one of the smartest guys I know. We have Mike Petrocelli, SVP of Sales and Business Development from Civolution, also one of the smartest guys I know. We have AJ Shah from TV Plus, also one of the smartest guys I know. We have Arvind Singh, CEO of Beyond TV, Alpha Labs, and he is actually going to be showing a little bit off his iPad here in a minute. And we have Amy Viles, VP of Emerging Media, Bravo. Amy is a friend of mine from her In Sequence days. She used to be a blonde, but she changes that now and again, and she got lost in a crowd and didn't even know she was here. And then we have Ashwin Navan, CEO of Flingo. You might all know Ashwin from the days where he was terribly disrupting all of our base businesses with something called BitTorrent. But nonetheless, he's left the dark side. He's come over into the light, so he can be a friend to all of us. We're going to go through, everybody has about 2 or 3 minutes to talk about how their solution works. Not a sales pitch, but I've told them all that this is a complex and confusing world, and that if all of you leave today nodding your head saying, okay, I get that, I understand how it all works, then I've done my job. And I have a portable taser in my pocket, and if they go over 3 minutes, they are dead meat. I think first up will be Arvind, and he's going to be showing you something on his iPad and going from there.
One of you like to go to the other seat? You guys are comfortable? All right, you cozy on there? Okay, all right.
They were all kind of crowding around Amy. Cute girl, even though she's not a blonde anymore. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so good afternoon, everybody. And I am Arvind, as he already introduced me. I come from Singapore, so I have no Valley connection, so it's my first time coming to California. I'm really overwhelmed. And a few months back, we started doing some work for Samsung onto the connected TV. And that's where we started doing some widget development. And we suddenly realized that's not the way to go about it. And here we are, 4 or 5 months back, presenting the solution which we think kind of really makes sense. So I'm not just going to spend some time talking about it. So we have a very small 2-minute video which is going to do some talking, and we can then later talk more about it as we go along into the discussions.
What did you say to him the night of November 2nd when he was, as he put it, shellacked?
I said, let's get to work. There's a lot to do.
Together. I'll leave that there to cool. Slightly, while I whisk the cream the lazy way. Like 375 mils of cream. You want the cream to be softly but thickly whipped.
Yeah, like my dad should have left. That's what you'd expect.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Now keep in mind that election night, I think she went to sleep.
Greatest mystery of our past.
So that was Beyond TV, a social framework which allows you to, it's a companion device which understands what's playing onto your TV and then provides the meta content based on what you're watching and supplements the information onto the tablet devices and also onto the handphone or iPhone devices.
Okay, thank you. Next, we're going to listen to AJ Shaw from TV Plus.
Thanks.
You want me to run it from here?
Would you mind if I
Sure.
happen to do that? Thanks.
You can do it.
Actually, in that case.
You're in. I think you can talk with these and give that to one of those guys.
Oh, yeah. Who's next?
Doesn't matter.
There you go.
You think you can talk from here? Just page down.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. My name is AJ Shaw. I'm from Spot 411 TV Plus. TV Plus is the product name. The original corporate name is Spot 411, so if you're a little confused. So a little bit of background on why we're here. The average American watches 140 hours of television a month. About 78% of people who have an internet or mobile device in any given month have a simultaneous TV and internet session. That's up 20% year over year. So why is that important, and what does that mean? It means that people with easy access to the internet, where it's always on and always available, are starting to use these devices in conjunction with each other, sometimes in an unrelated fashion, sometimes in a very related fashion. 33% of all internet that's used at home is actually used while in front of the television. So this is very significant. So TV Plus is really designed to make it easier for people to use the internet while watching television at the same time. We allow people to socialize, surf, shop, and search around television. And sometimes that means the activity is related to what you're watching on TV, and sometimes it's not. And so what we do specifically is companion television. It's the 3 or 4 hours a day that the average American or world citizen watches television and uses an internet connection potentially at the same time. And how can those sequences, how can those mediums be brought together in a better form? So this is a picture of our upcoming app here. It's the first one that we're releasing is in July. It's based on audio technology. So we listen to what you're watching on television and then synchronize to it. One of the key elements to our solution, though, is that it continues to listen through the entire engagement of the show. So if you fast forward or change channels, or if you're listening to a local commercial or a national commercial, it'll be able to identify exactly what you're watching and then provide you information in context to the moment. So we provide the technology that does that. We provide an app that does that. And we have, in some cases, licensed the technology. If you're familiar with Disney Second Screen, or the audio technology that powers that solution. So why is it that people want to do this? Well, TV is the greatest generator of demand for information out there. So people ask questions directly in relation to what they see on TV, like what other movies was she in, or what book was this based on? And then sometimes it creates demand, like from advertisements. And it turns out that the internet is the greatest fulfiller of that information. So people then go to the internet and they do Google searches and other searches as well. But right now, they have to go out and get that information and then reconcile the experience for themselves. The idea behind TV Plus and two-screen engagements, in our opinion, is that this demand generation can be inferred, and essentially we can provide that back to the user instead of them having to go out to do it, creating a much more concise, consolidated, and friendly experience around watching television. So with respect to our particular solution, we have an audio recognition component that goes into the main iPad app. Each of the little spots that you see on the right are related to a specific segment in the show. So you might see advertisements, you might see actor information, biographical information, and each of these individual content pieces or the branded content pieces can be shared. So by sharing on platforms such as Facebook, you can extend the experience. We don't believe that people just want to share what they're watching on TV. They may want to share components of the experience of what they're watching, and so TV Plus is really designed to facilitate that. I'm happy to do a demo for anybody who's interested after this form, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Let's see. Next up, who's number 3? Mike Petrocelli from Civolution. Mike, you're going to come up. Civolution is a spin-off. What's the right phrase, Mike, for your relationship to Philips? Spin-off. They're a spin-off of Philips. So I'm going to put you into slideshow mode. And unlike most people in this world, he has more money than God, so hit him up.
That's not necessarily true. Thanks for all you all for coming today. And Civolution, I'm going to introduce my company a little bit, then I'll go over the technology and our technology for this particular market. Civolution has created a worldwide market leadership position right now in content identification technologies and solutions. Those technologies are primarily fingerprinting and watermarking. The company enables all across the media and entertainment value chain, our partners and our customers, we enable them to identify, manage, and monetize digital media content. Our company is headquartered in the Netherlands, and we have offices all over the world, in France, London, New York, LA, and Shanghai. We also have representation in Mumbai, Moscow, and Sao Paulo. We've grown to over 100 plus employees worldwide, and our customer base is over 180 revenue-generating customers who are across the spheres of studios, broadcasters, pay TV distributors, and equipment manufacturers. So the technology we're talking about primarily is media synchronization in order to get to the second screen in the home. So what that typically does is it allows you to embed an audio watermark or an audio fingerprint into the content. And when it's broadcast into the home over the audio channel, what you have is smart devices that have downloaded an app that are constantly listening for that fingerprint or that audio watermark. What that does upon recognition, it allows them to immediately recognize what channel and which content's being played. It allows them to sync to that particular content. And once that sync happens, it allows that content owner to interface with the consumer in the home via that second screen, specifically with the content that they're looking at. It adds more value, it adds a number of different things, different applications into the home. So how does that actually work? So second string synchronization, basically when you're a content owner, what you do is you embed that audio watermark or that fingerprint into the audio stream, and you can distribute it any way, IPTV, satellite, cable, et cetera, et cetera. Oops. Oh, we're missing a slide. But inside the home, you can actually see the devices actually listening in the home, the smart devices via the mic input. And then once they pick up that audio watermark and they sync to it, they then use the 3G channel, the Wi-Fi channel, to then go get that second level of content that will be projected on that particular screen. How does it actually look in the home? We wanted to add a lot of value to this presentation. So this is actually a depiction of my home. You can see me on the left. I cut my hair a lot closer when I come to these panels. My girlfriend is on the right. I live in LA, and she's actually a public person. I can't tell you who she is, but first name is Hallie. But you can actually see she's using the iPad, and they're watching content together. Once they sync up that app, and that can be done actually manually or can always be listening in the background, it'll then sync up to that content. It'll identify that watermark, and then shortly thereafter, it'll grab that content that's been linked to that particular part of the content or that particular piece of content. She's able to interact with the content in a million different ways. There are a lot of different applications. This one's a polling application where she's voting for which, this could be American Idol or Dancing with the Stars, or The Voice, et cetera, and she's going to vote and contribute and engage with that content. And then immediately it can grab polling data. It can give you different types of content involved with that. You can allow you to program your DVR for the next week's series, et cetera, et cetera. Other things too, it can also send you social media. It can send you exclusives, which is probably going to be the next big thing, would be exclusive content that allows you to engage longer with that content. Other applications for this would also be advertising. And that's it. Okay.
Thank you. All right. Adam's going to come up and tell us how to sell his company to Yahoo in 30 words or less. Let's see if I can find your stuff. You have a presentation, and you also have a video. The video's on the desktop.
Okay.
But your presentation is in PDF form, so you just kind of move the cursor down there.
All right, hold on. Cool. That worked. So I'm Adam Cahan. I'm the CEO and founder of a company called IntoNow. Yes, we were bought by Yahoo. That is correct. So the myth is that we launched on January 31st and we were bought 12 weeks later. But there's obviously more backstory than that. So we developed a technology in particular. What we wanted to do was actually fundamentally change the way people are interacting with TV in a companion manner. What you'll hear a lot about from us is technologies and how we went about it. Our whole use case was it has to be ridiculously simple. One button. If I can't press one button and you can't tell me what I'm watching on TV, I'm out. I don't care. If I'm a consumer, I'm gone. So what we created was a system where we need nothing. No partners, nothing. We fingerprint 130 channels of TV live every single second of every single day, and we maintain a back catalog today that has over 150 million minutes of content. You go to YouTube, you pick up a video, you tap that button, we'll know what it is if it's been on TV. Our library comprises over probably what amounts to about 50 years of actual television type of broadcasts. It's only what's been on TV for the last 5 years, but if you think about it, we fingerprint TV Land, that'll have the first episode of ALF. What's very, very different about what we did, it's all live, real time, every single second of every day. Meaning, and I'll show you a video, you turn on CNN breaking news, you press that button, we'll be in sync and say you're watching CNN breaking news. Our perspective on this is the creativity that's going to come is not about, hey, can I make this thing actually sync to your device? That should fall to the background. And frankly, for content owners, there should be no heavy lifting for it. You don't need to insert something. I'm not saying, hey, go and put this watermark in there. I'm actually saying, it's broadcasting on TV, we'll know it. The other unique aspect of what we did was, because these devices are incredibly smart, we know where you are, what time zone you're in. So I can easily sync and say, are you live or are you recorded? So that's why we started IntoNow, about getting more from TV. You guys know this really well, but we would argue that today, to be socially engaged with your TV and your friends, to connect, there is no easy way. There really isn't just a simple, I pressed a button and now I know what all my friends are doing and we're all engaging. Every step of that process is another point where you're going to lose an audience. So we call our world, instead of content being king, we call it context is king. Context is king in the world of devices. In particular, we will tell you it's the death of the input box. There will be no input box on your devices. If I have to tap to tell you something and I have to say, hey, I'm watching this show and I have to write that in, I won't do it because it's not a consumer experience that I want to engage in. So for us, it's about sound, it's about photo and video, it's about location. These devices that are with us will change the way we input information. And if we're not smart about taking advantage of that, our services and products won't scale. So that's what we did. We created a service, so I'm going to fire up a video
You're going to have to show me where it is on the desktop. This was a gentleman at CNN. He actually he is the digital head of CNN Breaking News, and he didn't believe that we could do anything live. So he put us to the test, and it's quite a funny video. It's the most meta thing I've ever seen.
This is in New Hampshire. Now the chunks of ice created ice dams and that caused flooding. An excavator was brought in to break things up. And in a few minutes you're going to hear where severe weather is headed today, the absolute fear that people there are feeling. An emotional witness described to CNN's Anderson Cooper what he was seeing.
That's incredible. How does it do that?
So, can you pull the PDF back up? So,
You're out of time.
oh, but I'm not. Come on. I have one more slide. Anyway.
Talk fast.
Okay, I'll go really fast. Anyway, he did that at CNN, back of the room. He was actually in the studio, breaking news, Robin Meade, identifying Robin Meade. It was all very meta. Okay, our technology, which if you guys want to go deeper on, we can talk about 130 channels live. It takes us 4 seconds to make an identification, or up to 12 seconds if there's a lot of ambient noise. Catalog represents about 266 years of content, about 2.6 million airings. When we launched 4 weeks in, we did 1 million tags. That's a tag a second with peaks at 17 tags a second. We are about 14 weeks in. We've done over 4 million tags now. Consumers are actually deeply engaged with us. We've done almost 1 million downloads in the US. We haven't even launched on Android yet. And what we're introducing is a set of features to drive people to do stuff. Okay. Separate from that, not interesting, not interesting. We did 2 other things. So we did a promotion with Jersey Shore, and the thing with Jersey Shore was they wanted to know how do we get people live and engaged, live and viewing. And because our technology can actually identify whether you're watching it live or not, we created a loyalty event where every series you had to tag in live to enter the premiere. We actually drove about 2.6x more live viewing than they had typically seen. So we were able to kind of push audiences into that. The other thing we did was we did something with Pepsi where we actually, if you tag the Pepsi commercial, what you get is the ability to actually create a coupon inside the device. It gets automatically generated. It was the first time that Pepsi has ever given away free product inside a device. The reason that they did it as a free product inside the device is we can actually lock down within the device so that the coupon and the device are unique. They cannot be recreated. So you could actually take that coupon into Target or CVS or 7-Eleven and get handed a 20-ounce free Pepsi. Cool, that's all I got. All right, done. All right.
Thank you. He got a little extra time because we obviously took NZT, the drug that the guys were using in that movie, Limitless. Next we have Ashwin, our friend from BitTorrent and other places, and I think he's actually going to be making an announcement today.
I'm never going to live that one down, I guess.
Never.
That's okay. There's about 110 million people this month who are pretty happy with it. But my parents weren't among them, and my brother and I started Flingo because we wanted to figure out how we could get them into the whole digital media ecosystem. And we noticed that they were pretty fixated on their TV. That's their primary device that they use to consume content. And that's true pretty much most of the world, outside of San Francisco, New York, and maybe a few other cities. 5 hours a day, according to Nielsen, and thanks to the efforts of companies like LG, Samsung, Vizio, Sony, the chipset companies that supply them, the TV is getting a lot smarter. There's a lot more capabilities in the TV, and so when we started Flingo, we were very interested to figure out how the computing capability that's in the TV could evolve and improve the TV watching experience. So a lot of shared vision with the other panelists in terms of how this can evolve, but we're looking specifically at the TV as well, not in addition to second screen devices. Let's see. So some of you may have seen this Far Side comic. This is apparently a very smart kid who's showing up for school at the Midvale School for the Gifted for the first time. He's having a little trouble. Can you guys see that? The sign says pull, and he's clearly not pulling. We think of the efforts of the whole smart TV ecosystem to date as this very smart kid who isn't really reading what's obvious, which is that there's been a lot of efforts to create a digital living room, but there's a lot of sort of very, very profitable businesses that don't have a lot to gain from that. So I think when we think about how to make a presence in the smart TV, we're not thinking about how to overturn very, very valuable models and very valuable experiences that many, many, many people depend on every day. We're thinking about how to evolve the experience, and I'll get into that a little more. Companies that have tried to overturn the use case for TV today are numerous. This is some companies that you may have heard of that have spent hundreds, if not billions of dollars trying to revolutionize TV. So we wanted to learn from what's worked and what hasn't worked. And I think that, like the panel, we think that evolution and being able to augment the existing user experience for TV is the right approach rather than trying to overturn it. Broadcast TV today is something that is not only a major business, but it's also something that many people spend hours, significant amounts of time involved in. In TV terms, a friend of mine at CBS recently told me that for the CBS.com website or the mobile app or any of the digital platforms, frankly, I think he said that for them to get 10 million users and 15 minutes of engagement is a pretty good outcome for them. But for the broadcast business, that's a failure. A show that has that kind of usage may get canceled. But when we think about how to allow the broadcast industry to continue to thrive in a very valuable business model and build a new business model on top, we think that the right approach is one where we can do a lot of smart things in the TV itself that keeps the broadcast industry intact. Our fingerprinting algorithm is something that runs inside a TV. It runs persistently in the TV whenever the TV is on. It identifies whatever's on screen using a video fingerprint, not just an audio fingerprint. And then we're able to understand what someone's watching in real time. So because video is a lot richer from a data perspective, our response times are even lower than 5 seconds. We're seeing average response times of about 3 seconds to figure out exactly what's on screen and then be able to present some interesting things on screen or on a second screen as well. So we think about this as an evolutionary experience, not a revolutionary experience, one that is available to all apps, not just ones that need to be sort of memory resident in an iPhone app. You don't have to sort of launch a new application, activate it, have it listen to something. This is something that any web page, any app can be listening to via a local network broadcast. It's not relegated to second screens. There's no reason why the TV experience in the TV can't be improved upon. Again, not taking people away from a very valuable and critical experience to the business, but one that could potentially improve it on screen. A few other things that we do as a context engine. We allow the smart TV to learn from and understand people through the APIs that exist across the web, whether it's social networks or media properties. We have a lot of partners that are on board with us. Would love to talk more about how we deploy this context engine for broadcast networks, cable networks, device manufacturers, and even chipset companies. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, next we're going to have Evan Krauss from a little company named Shazam. Yeah, I think we're going to do, by the way, we're going to open up your PowerPoint without the video, and the video is in a separate file. We'll do that at the end.
At the end of that?
At the end. Sure. Okay, go. Sure. Yeah, 3 minutes.
So I figured, I was going second to last, that a lot of the shared vision of a lot of our companies on the panel would have been discussed. So I'm going to try to keep it super simple. The biggest difference between Shazam and many of the companies that will be presenting their great stuff today is We're the 4th largest app of all time. We have 130 million downloads and users of our service. We're in 200 countries, and we are doing what we call Shazam for TV, or interactive TV, now for 1.5 years. There are 10 programs that we've launched already. There's 10 programs coming out in the next 2 months, and there's about 30 or so in the queue, and that includes advertisers as well as network partners as well as production partners in the shows. So just sort of cutting to the chase of why we think mobile, right, whether it's the iPhone, Android devices, or tablets, are an interesting platform. I think first and foremost is the scale. We've been talking about the scale of interactive TV, I think, as long as it's been the year of mobile, right? I think mobile's unquestionably finally come. The devices continue to scale. 40% of all the devices sold in Q4 were smartphones. So I think we can all agree that the scale is already here and continues to grow tremendously. These devices that we all live with are, typically not further than 3 feet away. We're multitasking constantly. That guy right there is listening and typing an email at the same time. We're all doing this. We're sitting in TV, we're doing our email, we're texting with our friends, we're Facebooking, we're walking down the street while we're texting. These devices have already created a behavior of multitasking, right? And that's what we're asking people to do. We're asking them not to pause the show. We're asking them to engage with the show in a different way, whether it's engaging with their friends, whether it's going deeper in content, whether it's getting behind the scenes content or cut content that didn't make it to the show, whatever it might be, we're asking them to do that simultaneously with the show. The remote, as we've seen with the button, the red button in Europe, wasn't working as well. And I think one of the reasons is a lot of us aren't watching TV alone. I know if I tried to engage on screen, no offense, Ashwin, but my wife would shoot me and say, get back to the darn show. Where I, as an individual with these devices, can go completely off on my own and play away. This is a behavior that people are already doing. Yahoo and Nielsen came out with some data talking about people using their mobile devices while they're on or while they're watching TV. They're saying it's 86%. I challenge anyone in the room who hasn't been using a mobile device or hasn't had it in their hand or on their lap, ever. So I think the other really amazing part is the technologies that we're seeing on the devices. We are already dealing with completely interactive, immersive experiences, right? Whether it's the iAd-like stuff that is now done on any platform and any technology, something we're doing with Shazam, we can pull people in with a really engaging experience in seconds. I think also, I think everybody would agree, these are inherently social devices. We use them every day to engage with folks. As we create better and better use cases for them to engage in content, whether it's TV content or commercials, we see these devices as set for where to go. So why Shazam? And why have we seen such great success already with our partners? We're actually exceeded 130 million users on a global basis, and we're growing at over 1.2 million downloads every single week. That has grown from 700,000 downloads a week 6 months ago. So we're not only growing at this ridiculous scale, but we're actually continually escalating our growth in both as the word of mouth grows, but also as the devices go. Actually, one last thing. We have done 2 billion recognitions since we've launched our application on the iPhone market, and 1 billion of those have been in the last 10 months. Right, so the scale of usage and downloads and things that we're seeing in the market for all of us are actually quite exciting. Again, we've really looked at this as, one, Shazam is out there. We're known and beloved as a music recognition service, and now we're expanding into new content. We've already seen that when somebody Shazams a song, there's lots of different things that they like to do. We're the largest lead source to iTunes. In mobile, we'll do, I can't say how much we're doing. We're doing lots and lots of sales for them on a daily basis, hundreds of thousands to be exact, on a daily basis. So we know people want to buy content after they recognize something. We know they want to go watch videos. We know they want to explore different content. And we think that is really, really important for this space is to find the individual use cases and the individual content that is relevant to the moment in what they're watching. I'm almost done. There's also no heavy lifting. Shazam, as I mentioned, is an application that's already out there. The technology is basically ready to go. We use our the tag result, as we call it, the recognition page that has been done 2 billion times. We completely customize it for our partners, which gets to the next point. We are a partner-focused business right now. We work with our networks and our advertisers to create very specific solutions. We think ubiquity is absolutely important, but the use case has to be there. We have to provide really interesting things. The other thing we're doing is we're helping our partners make money, whether it's brands actually selling their products or it is networks making advertising revenue. And I'm being kicked off, so read that on your own.
All right, we're actually going to show Amy's video. Thank you. I think that if nothing else, that shows us the rather astonishing scale that's possible with all this. Okay, Amy Viles is here. We're going to show a little video from Bravo. She's going to talk a little bit about what she's doing. And then we're going to have a chance to ask some of these guys some questions. Let's make sure this comes up. Not only did it come up once, it came up twice. See, that's the old double click thing. It's supposed to double click on QuickTimes. Can I just play that, or you want to talk first?
I'm going to talk first, and
All
then
right.
I'll play it out. So, Bravo, home to Top Chef and the Real Housewives. If any of you are Real Housewives fans, you might have enjoyed our latest installment premiering last night with New Jersey. So we have a very passionate audience. I have the privilege of leading the emerging media team, and we get the fun of seeing what all these new things are in the marketplace and adapting them for Bravo consumers. So it's been a lot of fun for us to work with these type of partners and just with our internal teams to come up with the ideas that have really helped us to be the innovators in the marketplace. So launching things like the first live viewing companion application, being there on the forefront of social media, and really look at what do these new type of technologies mean from a consumer perspective, and how do they help us drive engagement and viewership around the show. So what I'm showing here is a premiere spot for a show that we'll be launching over Memorial Day weekend. We're incredibly excited about this show. It's a new contest reality for us. It's called Platinum Hits. It is going to be hosted by Jewel with Cara DioGuardia from American Idol, who will be judging as well. It's a contest reality, as I said, so contestants will be writing songs and competing to be the best songwriter of the show. So one of the things that we wanted to do is, again, we try and find new things that we're doing in the marketplace. How are we being innovative? How are we being creative? And how are we engaging the fans? So I'll talk a little bit more about this, but following the last partner here, I'll just go full screen, and you'll see a...
All right, let's make a hit.
Mondays are sounding even better. When you see this Shazam icon during Platinum Hit, you can get bonus videos and content. Download the free Shazam app on your smartphone, then hold it up to the TV when you see the icon, and you'll unlock the judges and contestants playlists, full performances, and lots more.
Pow, ow.
The series premiere of Platinum Hit next Monday at 10, 9 Central, only by Bravo.
Great. So this is a 30-second spot. We're going to be running a promotion of what we're doing with the show. So we've worked with Shazam to create a unique experience for fans who are watching the show during the premiere airing. They can, if they've already downloaded the Shazam application, they can just pull it out of their pocket during the show. And at 3 different moments during the show, we're going to allow them to unlock different pieces of content. They'll be able to do things like get playlists from the contestants. So there'll be different themes about each of the music genres each week, so they can see sort of what are some of the other favorite songs that the contestants had to be inspired by. Other things too, that at the end of the show you'll get the full bonus act of actually watching the entire performance of the show. You'll see part of it on air. This will be one of the only ways that you'll be able to actually see the full performance. So, we're really excited about how our users are going to respond to this. We know that they're incredibly passionate about the shows. Of course, they love getting behind the scenes content or other additional information that they can't get anywhere else. I think that's one of the things that a content creator, that while people can create a lot of different services that might allow people to check into the shows, we're the ones that have that deep access to either the talent or to the knowledge of what it takes to create the show. And those are always the things that we get asked. If you see people love Bravo, they love Top Chef, they love The Real Housewives, and the next question is always sort of, tell me what really happens. Like, what do these people really like? What happens with the show? How do the chefs pick their ingredients? So with this show, it's a exciting way for us to launch the series too, because again, this is a premiere show for us, and it's one of the ways that we can help drive engagement on a freshman show when it starts to come into the marketplace, and then drive awareness within the social sphere that's out there.
Cool, thank you. All right, we have a couple of things that you need to know about. And one of them I'm going to skip because we already had some inferences about this. For the most part, if you're a consumer and you've already downloaded the application onto your companion device, folks, we will assume that the companion device will recognize the show that you're watching in a 4, 5, 6 second window. Is that about right? Everybody's nodding. Okay? So once you're up and running, this actually can work at the start of, for example, a 30-second commercial. The issue will be how big is the application that you then launch once you've done the handshake. If the application is send me a coupon, then that coupon actually doesn't have to get delivered while the commercial's still on, okay? But I'm going to get to the more serious one, and then Amy's going to help me with these guys a little bit. And let's start at this end. With Adam, how long does it take the first time the consumer uses your application, never used it before, the biggest wall you have to hurdle, how long does it take the consumer to download and register and sign into the app and then be able to get started? Got a microphone somewhere? Got a microphone for this gentleman? Amy was sitting on the microphone. Is this on? Can we turn that on? Is that on? Mic on?
Not so, on. So we actually have a try it now, so don't have to do much of anything. We also enabled, because we're quite social in our application, and what our purpose is to help you tie out your friends and what they're doing. You can just one click with Facebook Connect to actually log in to the application as well. So all in all, if it takes us more than, I would say, 4 to 10 seconds to do the entire process of tagging and giving you a response, then we failed. So I would say the entire process end to end.
Wow. Okay. Next. Skip Amy. Arvind?
I mean, for Beyond TV, again, I'll go into the same route. When we started this app, right, there were 2 key points which we looked at. Is it only the audio recognition which people are looking at it? There are a lot of, when you're sitting in the room, there's a lot of disturbance and there's so many other things happening. So we took 2 routes, which is one's an EPG route, another is an audio recognition. So when the person is watching a TV, he's also fine actually clicking onto an icon saying that this is what I'm watching. And behind the scenes, we keep on looking at it and we keep on working. Is he really watching that? If it is not, then we basically send him a cue point, or we recognize that you're not watching it now. Do you want to shift the channel, or do you want to change the meta content of
But from the time that he starts, he doesn't have it loaded, he picks up his device, how long does it take him to get active?
Oh, well, again, we use as a Facebook Connect, so you really don't need to be a Beyond TV users to log into it. So as long as you have a Facebook app installed onto your system, it takes 4 to 5 seconds to launch.
Okay, Facebook Connect. AJ?
We don't require you to register either. So the moment that you load the app, in fact, our application starts syncing without you having to press anything. It assumes that you're trying to synchronize with a television broadcast. So it begins right away. It takes anywhere from 4 to 10 seconds to sync at that point.
Pretty amazing. Ashwin?
So I think the big difference is we don't have an app that you have to install. It's running persistently. So any web page, any app can be listening to the event stream that's being broadcasted from the TV.
The only difference is you have to go to Best Buy and spend $2,000 for a new TV.
Right. It's a smart TV platform. Other apps, you could query our database of fingerprints and work that way as well.
All right. Evan?
Well, if you look under your seats, Ashwin's giving away a TV to everybody in the room. There's a little thing. It's so nice of you. I love it. So, with Shazam, it's 4 to 5 seconds. We have been known, similar to what Andy's doing at IntoNow for 7 years. We've had the button. So you launch your app. It takes 2 to 3 seconds on the device, and we recognize the content within 4 to 5 seconds.
Now, your audio app that I downloaded to test what you were doing, and by the way, it's very good. It recognized even obscure variations of Dave Brubeck's quartet playing Take 5, but it only gave me for free that month, and I had to pay for it.
Well, so there's 5 free tags per month.
5.
Right, and then there is a paid application.
Is that the same as if you're doing it for television?
So, something hard to market, and there's longer conversation about that. But when you Shazam television, it actually does not go towards your 5 limit.
Okay.
Right. But we just actually went free on Android with a sponsorship through eBay, and you can imagine things to come. So.
Okay, thank you. Because again, the barrier to entry on the consumer side can stop us in our tracks. Mike.
So for Civolution, we're not providing the app, so it really depends on how the app has been written. If you want it to run in the background, so as soon as it's downloaded, it's always running in the background of the device, or if it's something that you launch like Shazam. So that really comes down to what the app company that wrote the app or the broadcaster actually wants.
Okay, hold on to the mic. We're going to go the other way. I've heard some of you say that we have fingerprinting. I think Ashwin's video fingerprinting, which looked like it was recognizing the oddball folds on the sweater, that suggests that the programmer doesn't have to do anything to make that happen. I have also heard some people talk about the need to insert. What does the programmer have to do to allow his content to be recognized by your software? Start on that end.
So we do actually do both fingerprinting and audio watermarking, both audio. Our default product is audio watermarking. So all that you saw in my slides, all the broadcaster or the content owner would need to do would be to insert an audio watermarking embedder into either their live stream or into their offline workflow.
Okay, so he actually has to put a tag or a watermark into the program. Evan.
We work with our partners to ingest their content, so we can ingest all the way up to movie content. We fingerprint it, and then forever forward, it is Shazamable.
Okay, so you process their content. They don't have to do it, but you do it.
Yep.
It doesn't just come au natural over the screen. Now, Ashwin, your video, it looks like it just reads what's there, right?
Yeah, so video, we watch a lot of TV, and we fingerprint everything in real time, and we know, without any prior knowledge about what's on TV today, we're fingerprinting, and we can identify it within 3 seconds of it being broadcasted. The reason we were so interested in video as our first endeavor is that we've got some really smart signal processing engineers who are actually going one step further, not only being able to match what we see on your TV with our database, but also to be identify objects within the video. So if you're holding a cell phone, you're holding a microphone, you're driving a car, we'll be able to identify.
AJ?
We don't require the broadcaster or the content creator to do anything. We do the ingestion ourselves through cable boxes and other infrastructure that we've set up. Works for live television or recorded.
Okay, so that means that a program's running for the first time, you've never seen it before, you can actually identify it?
That is correct.
Interesting, okay. Arvind?
So in our case, we work with the partners like the guy sitting here, or we work with the network operators. So we don't do the fingerprinting and watermarking on the app itself.
Okay, and Adam?
Yeah, it just happens because we're already fingerprinting all those channels. So basically that is the reference set, and then anything that anybody queries against. So there's no upfront for
So
anybody.
you've gotten ahead of the curve, and you've built this wild database of all these audio fingerprints.
Yeah, so
for the shows.
when the premiere comes on, we'll know what the show is. We'll return all the metadata. We have all of the information about the actors and what genre it is, and et cetera.
Okay, all right. Last question, we're down to about 2 minutes. We're going to go.
I'd like to actually interject something, because I keep hearing this time and time and again, and as a content producer here, they say, oh, you just pick it up and you just use it. And I think that one of the things that we can't underestimate is, and we probably didn't see that enough in the spot, is that there's a lot of market education, though, still about getting people to do this. And there's a lot of thought about, do they have the app installed? Because a lot of these run either with an app, whether they're the branded app, it's an Into app, it's an IntoNow app, it's a Shazam app, is it a Bravo app? You've got to get them through that first hurdle. You've got to get them there, and then you've also got to give them a payoff that's meaningful. So I'm checking in, and then what? Is it enough to just say that my friends have checked in? Is it do I need to give an exclusive piece of content? Do I need to create some other extension? For this Platinum Hits, we spent a lot of time thinking about how are we going to educate our consumers so that we know they're watching TV, and how are they going to take that next step and really know how to do that next step. I mean, being as literal as we say in there, to hold your hold your phone with the Shazam up to your TV to do the audio recognition. I think that 4 to 5 seconds is fantastic. I mean, I was telling Adam a story, sort of like somebody told me about the IntoNow app, and I was like, yeah, we'll really see how well the audio recognition does. I use it while I'm using my bike trainer, which was really loud, and it, sure enough, recognize the audio in that time frame, and you're like, fantastic. So the technology's there, but I think the technology is not enough. It's how are we able to embed that in a meaningful way with the consumer experience that's just as important as everything else.
Cool. All right. We are almost done. I'm just going to make one point. First of all, thank you all for this. Second of all, there's sort of an interesting phenomenon that can occur here. For this to be the most consumer friendly, it's also the most consumer creepy. And that is that the device actually is always on and listening to what you watch and then delivering to you contextual content relative to what you watch. That's the way that the consumer can be most engaged. You're watching Glee, hey, here's something cool about Glee, and it just appeared, right? Without the consumer having to do anything. But as I think Mr. Bloxon pointed out, it's a little creepy to have this thing monitor what you watch and all the time. And we are done. We are out of here. Panel, thank you all very much. They all get to keep their lab coats. Thank you all.